This is it. The final season of Dragons and Nine Realms. Will it be a good ending? Will it conclude the stories in a good way? Or will it just be awful? Well, let's find out with this review. Hey guys, Blazie here, and welcome to this review of the final season of Dragons and Nine Realms. I'm honestly really sad that it has come to an end. The last 2 years I've had this show to look forward to every 4 months or so. And I for one have enjoyed it. I will talk about it more at the end though, so let's just get into this review. As usual, we'll go through each episode, so spoiler alert. Episode 1. The previous season ended with Buzzsaw letting out Jormungandr, aka the World Serpent, and so this one starts with a big snake sliding around the crystal realm with the Winders trying to figure out how to get it back into its cage. But also Tom says he almost killed the Sky Torture? Almost? What? They also say it's the most dangerous dragon ever, that it will destroy the world, yet it couldn't even kill one dragon. That's dumb. It's all for a reveal later, and you just know that's exactly why. It's dumb. So none of their attacks are effective, and it uses its breath, which is very toxic, so they have to hold their breath while the dragons protect them, but they do get affected by it. But in the end though, through the power of changing scenes, they are mostly okay with the dragons just a little sickly. Thunder was out of the way of the toxic, so he's okay. So Tom and Thunder head back to the gate after looking through the dragon book, and up top they find Volker's staff, aka Hiccup's mum's staff from the second movie. Hiccup apparently used it to hypnotize the dragon and get it into its cage. So Tom wants to do the same. Really cool idea to bring the staff into it like that. That's kinda cool. I'll absolutely agree on that. So Tom is going to bring out his inner Hiccup and train to use the staff while Jormungandr attacks the wells. But he doesn't understand how it works, just know it makes sound. So with Thunder's help, he tries to get it working. They do have some cute moments here.
Yes! This thing is...
June is being encouraging while Eugene is mocking him. June then goes through the book and it flashes back to Hiccup using the staff. But that isn't Hiccup. Like, him wearing the helmet is perfectly fine, but something is just really off about it. It's really off. You had an opportunity show to do something pretty cool here, and you just didn't. You didn't even show Toothless. Yeah, this was a wasted opportunity, but whatever. June then hands him a walk, because that's what she does, and then we have a montage of him training in different realms with different dragons. Definitely gave me Hiccup vibes here, and I dig it. And soon enough, he starts to understand how to use it, but not against a will foe. Alex gets a report of Jormungandr in the nature realm, so Tom goes there to try and save what dragons he can, making a promise to June not to engage, which of course he will, he's Tom. The Death Gripper that attacked him earlier is now stuck under a tree, so he tries to rescue him. But the dragon then fights against Tom, but he uses his staff and it works. But Jormungandr is coming, which I like to build up here, and some of the shots with the music. They really have a lot of good music this season. They really do. They went with that kind of godly, kind of choir kind of music, and it's really good. Tom decides it's now or never, and tries using a staff, which doesn't work, so Thunder grabs him and they fly off. The dragons all feel better now, as Alex sees the tracker for Tom shows him in a dark realm, with him still trying to use the staff, which eventually works. But the snake ain't falling for it twice, because he's quite the smart dragon. He attacks, but the others show up. They hide in a cage while Thunder closes it, but doesn't get in time, and it looks like it's the end for him. As the big dude just squishes him under his body instead of eating him. I guess he likes to soften his meal up beforehand. I don't know what that means. But he okays, he pulls off a smart move, and then cut back to the den, so again, they're fine, through the power of changing scenes. Blah blah. June breaks up with Tom. It's the whole, like, I trusted you, but you tried to do the thing when I told you not to argument. Like, I get it. I do. Doing this on his own was stupid, but he was also being attacked and most likely was gonna get followed by the big snake dude anyway, so it's kinda not his fault. He really didn't really have much of a choice, really, kinda. Besides the cliche ending, this is a pretty good episode. I actually really enjoyed it. You just know, though, that they're breaking up, but they're gonna get back together in the end. You know that's what's gonna happen, so it's kinda dumb, but whatever.
I want my money back. I've seen this before.
Episode 2 opens your Sladekin looking at image on a phone from the dragon book of this big thing on Dragon Sight. Is what I assumed anyway, but it's actually like a gem, which I will explain later. We see Linda still has the bubble horn, but the bubble horn doesn't really like Linda, which is kinda adorable. And then Buzzsaw comes in trying to sell a dragon to Sledkin. It's like, the dragon's like so calm around him, so I don't know, like if Buzzsaw's like being nicer to dragons because of his transformation later in the series, spoiler alert. Like that's my best guess for it. Thunder is trying to get Tom back to the lair, being very unamused as Tom moved a bunch of dragons there to hide them from Jormungandr. But everyone comes out of the lair in a panic trying to control the dragons, so Tom comes up with an idea. Open up a foster center so the town can look after the dragons. It's their problem now. Alex's mums take care of Gloma, the little dragon from the previous episode. Pete happily accepts a speed stinger.
Oh, that one is a little
Fast. Lava spirit. Look at him go!
But sadly, no one wants the lava dragon that I myself love. Even though I forgot what its name is. Magma Breather or something? I don't know. But D'Angelo's dad is quite the dragon lover now and happily takes him in because there's no dragon left behind. I love that. I love how much he loves dragons now. But then dun, Mr. Wake, aka the billionaire funding all of this, is suddenly coming in a chopper. So we gotta hide the dragons fast. Once he's down, he's kinda hard to read if he's a butthole or an okay dude. So while Eugene shows him around, Tom thinks today's the day for a new realm. Their realm. Because he does hear him say he wants to protect the environment, so he might be an okay dude. But Olivia says he also handpicked Sledkin. Like, that's funny. Like, she always knew that she was a bitch. That's funny to me. They ride around on ATVs with a speed stinger running around like it's Jurassic Park, and I'm pretty sure they even use a Velociraptor sound. The episode basically revolves around hiding the dragons like the big lava dragon. In the end, the dude doesn't see any dragons, but considers everything is going well and leaves. But Sledkin sees the bubble horn interacting with a piece of dragon sight and figures she does need a dragon of her own to find what she wants. Even though nothing happened in this episode, I still enjoyed it. It was still a pretty solid, very fun episode. Episode 3, they suddenly need to return all the dragons back to a realm thanks to Jude's mom, I guess. One of which is Jerry.
I am not Jerry!
Pete had bonded with his speed stinger, and it's just so sweet. And I also just love the name Jerry.
Can you at least wait to bring him down last? So I can have a little more time with him?
So they decide to wait a little while so Pete could hang with his dragon some more. Cut to Buzzsaw wanting to go out and collect more dragons and leaving a henchmen in charge, though they're scared of the big bad dragons. I probably shouldn't call him that. The writers try to find a place to keep the dragons safe, but they end up finding an area destroyed by Jormungandr. But they also see like a plant life is dying, which June mentions a thing that I did actually look up, and yeah, that is a thing, that Jormungandr will poison the land. So they are being accurate to the mythos, which surprisingly this show is. So at least this is kind of making it more of a threat then. Because my biggest complaint is that it's not a big dragon. It's not even bigger than like the Green Death of the first movie. But I guess it has poison breath and it is quite fast and also really smart, so I guess that's why it's a threat. They do find a sick natter, and it is all quite sad, as I mentioned there's no sign of the other natters. So they take it back home to West. And yeah, I appreciate it going darker like this too. They then see Jerry running around stabbing people as one does. Not me, I'm a good fox. And Tom thinks if they can collect a whole bunch of speed stinger venom, they might be able to freeze up Jormungandr to get him back into the cage. All while Tom and June are getting along, which is nice and not just argue constantly. Honestly, we'll say here, June does not annoy me this season. They did her right. They made her a bit more Astrid-like, where she is still that kind of tough attitude, but she clearly respects Tom, and actually tries to help all the group and all that, doesn't just argue with them. Tom figures they could use Buzzsaw's ballista thing to shoot the venom into it, so they go off to retrieve it. And as Eugene puts it, they're going to milk Jerry.
I don't get it. Jerry is so small. How's he gonna be able to stop that monster?
We're gonna milk him!
And to show how bonded they are, Pete calms Jerry down, which again, it's just cute. At the same time, Pete annoys him so much, Eugene stabs him, which is kind of funny.
Ah, who's the good big boy?
Thanks for keeping it down, Pete. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
I really am just a sucker for just cute crap. Tom and June go back and forth on things, with Alex becoming more and more stressed.
What did you guys talk about while I was gone? Did Tom mention me?
Has June, asked about me at all?
They end up getting the ballista while the henchmen gives themselves in, so as they get back they tie up the goons, which is the last we see of them in the show. So I assume they're still hanging there over the cliff, which I guess is, an ending for them. They are captured, they are not wanting to do anything with Buzzsaw anymore, and so that's kind of the end of their story. D'Angelo has enough venom and they got the ballista, so all good to go. As Buzzsaw gets back, the Gold of the henchmen are also now free and fly off. Again, that's the last we see of them. While Buzzsaw is pissed. They go to Jormungandr, causing trouble in one of the realms, and the Wilders try to lure the dragon into a trap to get it close enough to a ballista, but it can sense the danger because, as I said earlier, it is a smart dragon. But it doesn't matter as Buzzsaw shows up suddenly and ruins the plan. I mean, I could try later, but okay, sure. But good job, Buzzsaw. And so the big dragon then chases him down. So the Wilders basically all sad, go home, failed. Again, another really good episode. So far, this is a great season. And I feel like that's because it's just focusing on Jormungandr. Yeah, it is quite good. That said, I am getting warm in this thing. Ugh, why did I choose to wear a jumper? Episode 4, Plowhorn is missing. They find some tracks and suddenly Buzzsaw, but he is essentially in tears because Jack, his dragon, might be dying after taking an attack from Jormungandr.
I wouldn't lie about a thing like this. Okay, I would, but I'm not. I'm telling the truth. You have to believe me. I need your help.
They ain't sure if he's telling the truth, but D'Angelo, being the dragon doctor, wants to help, even though Plowhorn is still missing, but we see she is being kept in a cage by Sledkid, which damn, the words they use burnt her neck pretty bad as looks painful. She wants to use her to track down the Dragoncyte gem, being more and more okay with killing the kids as well, aka becoming more psychotic. So indeed, they see Jack really is hurt, coughing up the poison. D'Angelo helps while Buzzsaw shows how much he loves and bonded with his dragon.
I can't bear to watch him suffer. I don't know what I'd do without him.
It's all just like a really sad, nice moment to show how far D'Angelo has come as a dragon doctor and how wise he's become, and how far Buzzsaw has come with bonding with his dragon. And him and D'Angelo have a pretty nice, solid moment here.
I can't believe you still came down here to help Jack with your dragon missing. I don't think I would have done that.
I really like this moment, honestly. Giving Buzzsaw a reality check.
It might be time for you to look in the mirror, Buzzsaw.
In the end, Buzzsaw does help out the Wilders, telling them where Sedclear is hiding, and their entrance made me laugh.
Oh, I know. You nip because you love.
But Plowhorn and Sledkid are gone, but Linda and the Pummelhorn are still here, and Linda has had enough of Sledkid and gives away what she has been looking for. June figuring out that she is looking for the God's Realm, the ninth and final realm, where the source of all the realm's life is essentially, with this thing Sledkid is looking for being like a gem thing that gives oxygen to all the realms. Is it silly? Yes, quite. But I don't really mind at this point. I do see this as more of a sequel to the TV series than the movies, and I can see it happening in the TV show. So, it's fine to me, whatever. So that's what Sledkid wants, and finding out that all the dragons are in danger, Linda just holds a Bubblehorn like, no, not my baby, which is adorable. We see Sledkin down in the God's Realm, with Dragoncyte being everywhere, and the gem in the center of it all with a dragon down below blowing fire up on it. What a life to have. Just your one job, just blow fire up. That's it. And then Sledkid, being kind of badass, I will admit, takes down 2 of the Gembreaker dragons. Like, damn, girl.
Let's do this.
The Whiters show up, though the gem breakers don't know that they're the good guys, and so attack them, while Sledkin goes up to the gem. Sledkin gets the gem and all the crystals die down, and already the oxygen is leaving the realm, and so the big dragon from underneath comes up, looking kinda like the goblin dragon from the previous season. So now they have to deal with that dude, but Tom and Thunder deal with Sledkin, with her saying that she just wants all the fame and money out of it. She doesn't care about killing the realms. Everyone's becoming weaker, and the big dude ain't doing so well himself, and eventually falls back down into the hole. And so now, classic moment of Sledkin falling down, but Tom grabs her hand, but she'd rather go after the gem than grab his hand. So, in the end, falls to her death. This is the last we see of her. Yeah, they actually killed her off. Like, yeah, she was too far gone at that point. She would absolutely give the secret away. So I have to give it to the writers for killing her off. They really are just wrapping things up nicely for this final season. Again, it was a really great episode. Alright, before we get to episode 5, I'm gonna strip down. I need to change to a t-shirt. I'm getting really warm in this. Pow. I lied. It's a singlet. Episode 5, June's mum wants to shut down the place because of Jormungandr are threatening the lives of the town. So, everyone all sad because they have to say goodbye to their dragons. But also to each other, which Eugene is all like, yeah, I won't miss you, which Alex seems hurt by, which we will come back to. But of course, Tom wants to deal with the dragon first, but then there's a signal from the King's Realm, aka where Thunder's family is. His family were attacked and are in bad shape, but the baby Nightlights are okay at least. I will admit, they are little feral goblin things. I feel like they fixed their eyes a little. I was a bit nicer to them when they first showed up, but I do admit they're not great looking. There's something wrong with them. But whatever. It's fine. Tom figures they could build another gate made out of Groggle iron, I think from the previous TV series. So they need to collect the resources. So Tom and June do that, while Alex and Eugene look after the baby Nightlights, very much acting like parents, as this happens with Alex getting more and more annoyed at Eugene throughout.
And you're just looking at photos, distracting them with a screen. You know you're supposed to limit screen time with kids, right?
I'm just keeping them occupied.
Which as well, Tom does actually officially call them Nightlights. I think that's like the first time we heard the name in canon. They collect some stuff in one of the worlds where the goblin glasscaster is, who is now scared and hiding. Even he is scared of Jormungandr. Tom and June have like a little moment in the nature realm, seeing how the dragons can communicate, and June points out the whole thing with Jormungandr, who fights with Thor, who is the god of thunder.
What?
So kinda, pointing out that Ragnarok might be happening.
Come on, that's just a coincidence. I named him Thunder.
I know, but what if the prophecy of Ragnarok can't be stopped?
Honestly, that is actually kinda like a really cool idea. I don't know if that was like the original plan, but it might have been, which is like, you know what? I'll take it. I like they are delving into the Norse and the Vikings and all that kind of stuff still. You know, I gotta give them that. It's honestly, now thinking about it, something I wish that the original series did more. And maybe if they ever bring it back, I would like them to explore this idea. They go to the Fire Realm, and there is the Sky Torture. Not looking great. So we need a Groggle who is shown near the Sky Torture. Don't know why they don't just fetch another one instead of going to the most dangerous one, but sure, I guess they kind of don't have a lot of time, so yeah, okay. Which, of course, they wake up the Sky Torture. So now they're flying around with Tom on the Groggle, almost getting taken down, but Thunder saves them. And then they fly off and end up at Buzzsaw's camp, where he has a working forge, but Buzzsaw is gone, including all the dragons that he captured, so something has happened there. Maybe he actually did have that change of heart after all. Back with Alex and Eugene asks Alice if she's okay, and then we see on her tablet pictures of him and her, and she finally admits that Eugene ended up being her best friend, and she has a hard time with her feelings, and it's going to be sad to see him go, and Eugene says the same essentially.
You became my best non-virtual, non-dragon friend.
You're my best non-dragon friend too.
Which, you know what? I'm happy with this. I kind of liked it too. I could see a connection there. I think I'm pretty sure I put it out a couple times. So I'm happy they did this. That said, they're like 15 or something, 15, 14, 15, and they're making a collage. Yeah, that's definitely more than best friend behavior, I guess, maybe. I don't... Either way, it's fine. I'm perfectly fine with them just being best friends, or just, saying best friends, that's perfectly fine, and not just suddenly adding in another couple or something like that, so that's fine. So they finish setting up the cage and wait around till Jormungandr shows up. But, turns out, he tricked them all along. It left the nightlights alive to keep them busy while it went down into the God's realm. June did mention something earlier, it does say it here, that Jormungandr is the son of Loki in the lore, in the mythos. So then learning that Jormungandr tricked them, she kind of mumbles under her breath, son of Loki. And it's just like, yeah, no, you're right. Again, they're kind of going into the mythos, and just the idea that Loki is a trickster, so the son kind of knows tricks as well. I kind of like that. Like, I just have to give it to the writers, like, adding in all these things and not just going by name. They are adding in these things that work for the lore. And yeah, it was another really good episode, setting up the final episode of the show. Sad. Episode 6, the final episode. It starts with him washing to the God's realm. Well, Tom anyway, and it's hilarious. He charges through each world and then just headbutts Jormungandr, essentially. It's so hilarious the way they decided to show this. It's like a child running full pelt into a glass door.
Do the spin out, Claudette!
What? The spin out?
So yeah, the big snake loses a tooth in the process and slithers off. And then back in the King's realm suddenly, and Eugene suggests to save all the dragons, they should all move them to Australia. I mean, yes, please bring the dragons here. I just find it funny that out of everywhere they chose Australia. And if anyone's confused, it's because I'm Australian.
I wonder what Tom's doing in the cave.
Hopefully plotting a course to the land down under.
Tom sits by the artwork of Hiccup and his family, and Jude sits down with him and tries to help lift his mood. Like, this does really give me the Astrid kind of vibes here, because that's what Astrid will always do for Hiccup. Which, speaking of Astrid, she talks about how he's not just a Hiccup, he also has the blood of Astrid within him, and says that maybe he isn't Hiccup, he's Astrid, because he is more of like a warrior than like a Tikua. So, you know what, that's fine, I get that, yeah, that's fair. I do kind of love it as well. We went this whole series just being like, yeah, oh yeah, he's like a Hiccup, yeah, he should try to be like Hiccup and all that kind of stuff. And then Drew's just like, no, he's Astrid. And so Tom gets the others to gather up more dragons to help the fight. But while Tom explores the nature realm for some dragons, the Elder Nightlight shows up and suddenly goes full alpha mode. Just lighting up. Like a nightlight. You know what? Sure. It looks cheap, as it's kind of like they added the glow function on Photoshop. But it's fine because he's not a Night Fury. He's a mix of a Night Fury and a Light Fury. So them doing this just glow thing, it's fine. And so now they fight, and then the others show up one by one with other dragons as well to help, including the Stiflehide. It's a little less than I thought, but sure. So they all fight, and it then shoots out a flame attack heading straight for Tom and Thunder. And the Elder Dragon swoops in and takes a full fire blast as Jormungandr runs off with the Riders and other dragons chasing after it. But Tom and Thunder go down to the Elder, and sadly he is dying. But before he passes away, he gives his alpha power over to Thunder. How essentially that works, I'm not sure, but it's cool and very sad. It works, it's fine. It's really sad. They actually killed off one of Thunder's family, essentially, and then they fly off to go after the dragon. Later, as D'Angelo is being attacked, Buzzsaw suddenly comes down, saving him. Jormungandr is now trying to make its way out, and Buzzsaw tells him to go after them while he helps out with the injured, which is the last we see of him in the show. So he did indeed have a change of heart in the end. Though the other riders chase him down, Thunder suddenly flies off in a different direction, with Tom not knowing what's happening. We suddenly go back to Jude's mum and Olivia figuring things out on like what they should do about going home. And then now, the big dude himself is here. So now Jormungandr is attacking the town, with the Riders then all like fighting him and trying to stop him. But eventually Thunder shows up, going alpha mode, with Tom calling him the new king of the realm. And turns out he went and got the Thought Whipper dragon and the Sky Torture dragon. Yeah, I figured that's why he was still alive. So then they all fight again, and then with one big final blast, it comes to an end. But the town is destroyed. I will say, yeah, the alpha mode does look a little silly because it's just like glowed blue and all that. I did think that he already did have an alpha mode where we saw him all light up with all the lightning and all that. It's just like, I feel like they should have added in more lightning and thunder and such to him, I guess. That's probably what it needed, is a lot more of that kind of stuff, you know, basically Super Saiyan 2. But at the same time, it's fine, it's whatever. It's still pretty cool that it even happened in the first place. Thunder is then seen flying through the realms, very like kind of somber kind of mood, you know, kind of going around, seeing how everyone is, all the dragons, and everything's kind of healed up and all that. And then he ends up back at the King's Realm with his family, who are all healed up as well, besides, obviously, the Elder Dragon. Tom and June have a moment while gazing at the stars, and finally kiss, becoming a couple again. So now all the Riders head down into the lair, while also confirming Jormungandr ain't dead, just got put back into his cage. But now, it's time for me to shed tears, and I shed a lot of them. The dragons had taken off their harnesses as it's time to say goodbye. Since the dragons can't talk, the Riders put it into words. The dragons realized what Hiccup understood years ago, that humans are not good for dragons, and the world still isn't ready for them. Even though Buzzsaw went good in the end, he still released the world serpent for his own vengeance. And then there's always gotta be people like Sledkin who is in it for the money. This is kinda how I figured the series would end, with this idea that humans aren't ready. But could you imagine for a second, a world where Trump exists, which he very much does in ours, and dragons also existed. Yeah, no, it'll be really stupid for dragons to return in modern day. It would not work at all. People would use them. Or, like a book I'm reading at the moment, would kill them and hunt them down, thinking they're monsters, but while the dragons think humans are monsters. Like, yeah, it just makes sense to me, honestly. This is how I imagined the series would end. It's just sudden. And with everyone pretty much needing to leave anyway, with the town destroyed, yeah, it's goodbye. And yeah, I cried a lot. I feel like I'm gonna cry right now. I do just hate, though, when shows don't take the necessary time to say goodbye. Like, give them one more flight at least. It needed to be one more episode so they could have this whole little conclusion, epilogue thing, and say goodbye properly. But yeah, everyone says goodbye, and in the credits we get artwork of the characters living their life, which you do get in other seasons, which I always love the artworks, I really do. They're such cool little artworks. But yeah, we do see like Alex and Eugene are still hanging out, and D'Angelo, I guess, is like in Africa helping the animals. Which is why I just wanted to bring it up, because it's like a little epilogue, I guess. But yeah, that's it. And it was a great last episode. Just a goodbye was rushed.
Boom, boom, goodbye, pal.
But that happens in so many shows. That happens so frequently. They never know how to end their show properly. And so I'm not blaming the show. I'm not hating on this show for doing that ending. Because, I mean, I will. But every show does that. And it's so annoying. Like, there's so many movies and shows that end like this, that if they did do it properly, if they gave it more time, would be less hated endings. For example, the ending of How to Train Your Dragon 3, for example. I hate the ending because it's so fast. I understand why that ending happened. It's the same ending in the books, essentially, that all dragons go off and then wait underground until they're ready to come up for us when humans are ready for dragons. That's kind of the ending of the books. It's the ending of the movies, and it makes sense. I understand it. It sucks, but I understand what they're trying to do there. It's a cautionary tale of treating animals and such with respect. With the ending of How to Train Your Dragon 3 is they did it so suddenly and so fast that they had no time to say goodbye. We only really got like a goodbye with Hiccup and Toothless, but not all the other characters. And so it just kind of sucked. But yeah, anyway, this was probably the best season. It ended the storylines perfectly. D'Angelo grew as a character and a doctor. Alex and Eugene were funny this season and, again, grew as character. Eugene several times risked his life for the others, showing just how much he cares for them. And again, he grew as a character. June wasn't annoying, and Tom was Tom. Buzzsaw's conclusion is what I figured would probably happen, that he would see the bond he had with his dragon and understand dragons ain't so bad. He's bonded with one. He really loves his dragon. So I'm perfectly fine with, Buzzsaw's ending. Though, what happened to him? He's still in the dragon realm. That's all we know, is that he's still probably down there. Which, I mean, I'm perfectly fine with. I would be too. Hopefully he's eating less dragons, though. Sledkin getting killed off, I didn't see happening, but glad it did. So, yeah, she was just too far gone, as I mentioned. Jormungandr was accurate. He's just way too small to be a threat. But they made him a threat by making him smart and, the toxic breath and all that. So, it did work in the end. Though, some complaints. Again, what happened to Buzzsaw? They didn't explore the giant realm any further. You know, the ones that have giant dragons, they didn't show because of how giant they are. Whatever, it's fine. But yeah, they had a whole giant world with giant dragons, and I feel like that world, they were obligated to because it's part of one of the 9 realms. But them showing off that there are giant dragons there, but then not doing anything with them, besides that, Jormungandr is, the most dangerous one, even though you have even more bigger ones in the other realms. But whatever. We didn't see what happened to Linda either. Maybe she'll meet up with Buzzsaw down in the realms, and I guess, those two will be a thing, exploring the realms together. And you know what? I'm actually perfectly okay with that. That's my canon. Is those two meet up with each other and go off and explore worlds and dragons and all that together, and protect the dragons together. You know what? I'm okay with that. We also didn't see Pete or D'Angelo's dad say goodbye to their dragons, again, since it was rushed. But still, they concluded the stories, everyone grew as characters, and the action was pretty good, and the comedy was pretty good. This season was a solid 10 out of 10 Foxes. I really enjoyed this season. But what about the series as a whole? I have always defended this show. This show has gotten so much hate because people saw Thunder's face and hated it. They saw it wasn't Hiccup, so they hated it. They saw the graphics weren't as good as the other series, even though that series doesn't look all that great either. Toothless looks very off, and the colours are very off, but they hated it. They saw it was modern day, so they hated it. They never tried to give a show a chance. Even those who review it constantly crap on a show without giving it a fair chance. They watch it to hate it. And that's what I have an issue with. That's what I see. I've gone to their streams or just, looked at their videos. They look forward to watching the show just so they can hate on it more. That's how they get views. That's the views they're after, is that hate views. And it's so annoying because they just don't give it a chance. I'm not saying you have to like the show. I understand if you don't. But it's not that bad. I would like you to tell me why you think the show is bad, please. When it comes to the way it looks, I don't know. The animation, the characters are very expressive. I find the animations to be perfectly okay. The other show is not that great either. Yes, it did a lot more. I will gladly say that. It definitely does do more with the setting and all that, but it's not. Yeah. Anyway, now. You all know I love the How to Train Your Dragon series. I have played every single game, including the Dragons 9 Realms game. I own all the movies, including the short movies. I have watched every series besides the preschool one, which I might do at some point, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I should. Well, like, maybe I should watch that and review the series as a whole, not by season by season. I also own all the books, and I love the series. And I, for one, understand Hiccup's story is done. There's not much you could do there now, so I agree it was time to move on with new characters and new setting, which is what a lot of other reviewers have an issue with. They don't understand the ending and why it matters. I do. I understand what they're trying to do. No, I don't like Hiccup and Toothless being separated. Okay, they end up being together in the end. Anyway, thank you for retconning that. So it did that. It did one good thing here. It did one good thing, that Hiccup and Toothless continue going on adventures. But their story is done. There's not much you can do. Oh, let's just focus on their kids. But Hiccup will still be there. Hiccup will do everything. Hiccup will build everything for them. It will still be the Hiccup show. It just... There's not much you can do there. As much as I want to continue seeing Toothless and Hiccup and all these characters I love. But you need to move on, guys. You need to move on. For me, I'm glad it has an official kind of ending to it all and everything. Like with Hiccup's journey and Toothless's and all that. I'm gonna cry. I understand why this show took place when it did. Like, yeah, at first I was iffy about it. The characters just didn't look interesting. But damn, did they grow on me. The dragons grew on me. The world grew on me. I loved them in the end. And I love the direction it went. I love that they included so much of, like, Norse mythology into this show. Because, yeah, it's all Norse and Vikings, and they didn't really do that too much in the original show. And they didn't really do that in the other shows and the movies and such. So I'm kind of glad they did it here, because it just kind of makes sense. It really did have some great moments that gave me those How to Train Your Dragon vibes. I love the bond between Tom and Thunder, and while they could have done more, what was there was great. And that's really all I asked for in the end, is a bond between a boy and his dragon. So to me, the Dragons, the Nine Realms, as a whole, for the entire series, is an 8 out of 10 foxes. I know that's probably going to be controversial. I know a lot of people are probably definitely not going to go that high as a series, and I understand, I do. But this is me talking. This is my opinion. I can understand maybe doing a 7, maybe even a 6, or something like that. But as a whole, it made me cry several times. It's an 8 for me. It's an 8. But what about you guys? What do you think of this show and its ending? Let me know down below. I can't believe it has come to an end though. Like, I'm so glad it did have an official ending. I'm really glad it did. It's over. I had this to look forward to every 4 months or so, and it was kind of fun just waiting for the show to come out. I'm also really annoyed it ended on 8 seasons when it's called 9 Realms. That's really, really annoying. I guess the question is as well, what comes next? Pretty sure the preschool show has ended. And then, yeah, this show has ended. And obviously, this is like their cash cow. You know, it's one of their cash cows, like Spirit, the horse stuff is now. So, what will they do? Oh, we do have the live action How to Train Your Dragon stuff coming soon. What show will they do next? Will they do, like, older versions of the kids? Like, I'll be down for that. Or will they do Toothless and Hiccup again, because people have requested it? Who knows? I'm intrigued, though. I'm intrigued for the future. But yeah, that's it. That's it for Dragons and Nine Realms. I hope you guys have been enjoying these videos. I hope you enjoyed watching me talk about this series. This series has done generally well on my channel, so it's gonna suck that I don't have more videos to do. I might do a retrospective review, I think it's what it's called. Or like go through the entire show again and kind of then talk about it as a whole. I might do that. I kind of did it here, but I might do that maybe. But either way, give this video a like and subscribe to my channel, because I love you if you do. Hit that bell icon, and VitoFox says, be who you want to be. Alright guys, bye for now. Episode 1. The previous season ended with Buzzsaw letting out Jormungandr. I forgot to look up how to actually say that name. Jormungandr. Right? But then, dun, Mr. Wake, aka But then, Episode 4, Plowhorn is missing. They find some tracks and suddenly Buzzsaw. So they need to collect the resources. John. Body's dying. As it does. All bodies are slowly dying. They go to the firewall, and there is the Sky Torture, looking a little bit not great. Why did I just write a little bit up? What does that mean? A little bit up? What did I write there? Ugh. It has a hard time with her feelings, and it's got to be like... I'm so tired. Ow. Something just bit my ass, and not in the fun way. Ow. Tom and June have a moment while gazing at the stars and kiss. And Kiss shows up. Da 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 da. I mean, that would be an ending, that's for sure. I'm actually... Why am I so warm today? I'm so warm. Ugh.